It's terrifying. But you've braved that. Now you have to brave all the hurdles of where do I go to the bathroom? Where do I sleep? Where do I, any of that. So you not only have that fear of, am I going to get completely ostracized? But even if I'm not, now I have all these hurdles to face. So if these things are in place beforehand, absolutely. I mean, wouldn't it be better, I mean, any of us, we would rather know ahead of time what is there for us. Any other questions? Now, let me ask you this. Where's the school at with different things?
So there are, actually our student government initiated the placement of a couple of different gender neutral bathrooms.
All right.
And that was student driven, so that was awesome. And there are 2 or 4.
Now, gender neutral. Why isn't every single person bathroom
I think
gender
it's
neutral?
called, well, so it's called everybody's restroom.
Everybody's restroom.
The issue or the thing to think about if we made every bathroom everybody's restroom, it would then alienate like Muslim women. They can't go into the bathroom. So like there's some need for some restrooms to stay gender specific. I
Gender
guess.
specific, yeah.
But there are restrooms now. So that was one thing that the schools, took a step
But these
forward.
are still single person restrooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't think like the locker rooms or anything have been talked about yet. And then for
Right.
housing wise, there's been a proposal made to the board for 2 years in a row now, and we're just waiting.
Yeah, it's difficult. They, with the schools that I do work with, Geneseo, Avalon, Livonia, Mount Morris, Dansville, they're all right on that edge of, okay, we want to just do everything. We want to enact policy, because that's what you need. You need policy in place for these children to understand this is what I get when I come out of the closet. The reason that you're finding more and more children coming out in middle school and high school is because they've hit puberty. And it wasn't that they weren't transgender before. They were transgender before. It's just that in elementary school, before you hit puberty, you're not having all that. It's not as bad. What you're being, it's bad, don't get me wrong. But once you hit puberty, then you feel like your body is working against you. And you're already going through all the hormone cycles. You're already going through the turmoil of being a teenager. But now all this is happening as well. So the reason you're seeing the kids coming out in middle school and high school more and more often now is one, because it's being talked about more. So there is a level of at least knowledge, if not acceptance. But it's that desperation. I've hit my desperate point, and it's either I kill myself or I come out. And that's very often the two choices that a transgender person makes. I'm either going to off myself now, or I'm going to be who I want to be. Because they hit that desperation point. That's usually what forces them out of the closet. It's not like this happy transition on out. It's usually a moment of desperation. Any other questions? Is there anything I can do to help you move things along at the school?
I think we're just waiting on one person to
That one stick in the button.
take action. But a lot of positivity in the fact that within 100 miles of here, there are 6 colleges that have gender neutral housing. So
Right.
this area of the country is at least.
It is. Yeah, things are moving. And as we get more education, it's going to make a difference. I was surprised to hear that the college across the street from me still takes it a case-by-case basis. You're transgender, okay, well, talk to the dean and see what we can do for you, rather than having policies already in place. It seems like if you're applying it to college, particularly if you know you're transgender, and you're applying to a college, you're more apt to want to go there if there's a policy already in place. I know that I don't have to, run the gauntlet of all this different stuff. Now, within the central schools that have elementary, middle school, and high school, which most of our schools are around here. They're all central schools. I've been pushing that all their single-person restrooms be made gender neutral. And the reason being is because, again, we're dealing with kids after the fact. You know, you've already made that desperate move to say, I am, and now we're going to decide what to do with you, rather than having things in place. And trying to get people to understand that if you have a child that is in middle school who is transgender, that same child was transgender in elementary. And so all these policies need to be established all the way through. Now, most restrooms, really, what it comes down to is the faculty giving up their restrooms, because those are usually the only single-person restrooms there are. And then when you get into the multiple-person facilities, restrooms and whatnot, then there's a little bit different considerations. But if you think about it, how often do we strip down naked to go pee? You know? I use the women's restroom all the time. It says M on my ID. I've never changed it.
I don't think it's so much have to do with that type of thing, but I think it has to do with the society we live in and having gender neutral, vicinity restrooms is women. Women are easy targets. They can be easy targets to masculine men. And the society we live in, they can be targeted in these restrooms and things like that.
with multi-person facilities, I do not foresee you're ever going to have gender-neutral multi-person facilities. I just don't ever see that happening. There's always going to be a segregation, and even when we're talking about using a restroom based on your gender identity, rather than your sex being the determining factor, it's still a segregation. We're saying, okay, people with girl gender go over here and people with boy gender go over here. There's still that segregation. So I really don't see that going away. And quite honestly, I wouldn't want to. When I'm in the women's room, I don't want, some big guy
I think what's
coming
really
in.
nice about the MCC plans too is they say everybody's restroom. They don't say like gender neutral restroom. They have like they're handicap accessible. They have multiple little stick figures. It's not just gender neutral. And I really like the language. I tried to find it on my phone, the picture of the sign.
Right.
It even has really good wording under there about what that means. And
Yeah.
it doesn't just equate for gender. It just means like
Everybody can
family
use
or
it.
in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Or like it just anyone just use this space.
Right.
Because you have a basic need and we can help you meet that.
Exactly. If you pee, go here.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is just my own pet peeve. I've never liked the transgender symbol with the little half man, half woman thing. I just never really liked that. It looks like a superhero cape blowing to the side. So yeah, the symbols. But then people talk about language. Well, people won't understand if you don't have a stick figure. But I think we can get around that.